Alright, we're back, and I love the rag on you, Manny, so I'm going to do it some more. We're going to hand over to Stocks, the one that pounded you in week 1, because he obviously knows what you need more than anyone, because, well, he demolished your team, so maybe he can help you rebuild.
Yeah, with the Packers, I found that the Clay Matthews rush factor came into a lot of play.
Exactly, Mike.
He's not getting any pressure on the quarterback, and that's turning over to high scores against him and big plays, and so I definitely look for probably the best pass rusher or
best linebacker
there that has the highest speed.
In my opinion, there isn't one worth taking at 17th overall at this stage.
What he has right now, because what he has right now is getting exploited. So he needs to change that up. So I don't care who's on the board, whatever his rating is, I'm taking him.
Who's the best linebacker right now?
Is Woods the next one?
Who's the best?
The best linebacker is Jay Gibson, I think.
What's his speed?
Jay Gibson.
I'm not sure.
Did we ever find that 6'4", 99 speed wide receiver for the Tennessee Titans?
No, I didn't manage to find him.
Okay, well, let's say he took that guy. We know he's there.
He's there somewhere. I know. I saw him on.
I promise you, even if he's a D potential, that's who the Tennessee Titans guy is taking. So we can move on from that. You might be right about the linebacker not, potential-wise not being there. Like Stock says, maybe you take a defensive end if you think. But the point is, he needs to get after the passer.
Yep.
Yeah. But I suppose the other option is he's got, if you're going for best available in this situation, you've got the option of a halfback. Yep. Manny's got a couple. He's got Grant and he's got Sam Shields.
Manny believes. And a halfback, he's got Starks, and Manny believes in Starks. Plus, he doesn't even run that much, so I don't think he goes running back.
No.
I'm just saying the fact that there's quality running backs still on the board. There's quality offensive linemen.
Well, it's real simple. It's real simple for me. You can disagree if you want, but I think he takes either lineman, or he takes a middle linebacker, or not middle linebacker. He takes either a lineman, linebacker at any position, or he takes a pass rusher because he needs those things.
Yeah, I personally think that this is a very difficult place in the draft for him to.
But there's a lot of good linemen left, so if you want to go with the best available, I mean, who do you got left? Who's the A potentials left? We got tons of them.
There's no, I don't think there's any A potential linebackers left.
No, I mean linemen.
Oh, linemen, yeah. There's
Harris.
Houston at defensive tackle. There's that's the only A potential left, I think. But then there's a couple of high B potentials.
No, offensive tackle. Bud.
Oh, offensive tackle. There's loads. There's Harris. He's the only A potential left.
So
he's a quality right tackle.
If Manny really wants potential, he goes to the lineman. But I really agree with Stocks. He goes either linebacker or he goes defensive end. And
his biggest need is to get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
If you're not going to get to the quarterback, you're going to let up a lot of points. And that's what Manny's been doing all year.
Now, obviously, we're just doing a mock draft, so there might be a linebacker better, and obviously then he would take him. I don't know. Maybe you're right, Alex. Maybe there's nobody worth taking. So
if I was Manny and I was going to try and get a linebacker, I'd try and trade down in the draft.
That's a possibility. Yeah.
Or trade up. But he's got 2 first-round draft picks, doesn't he?
His second pick is 22nd. I mean 23rd at the moment. So
but if he takes both first-round picks he's got and moves up for one.
You have the choice if you think you could get high enough and say you take maybe not the top left outside linebacker because he hasn't quite got the speed, but if you, for example, the guy who went first overall, he's a top pass rusher. He'd be perfect for Man. But it's just a case of if he can get that player,
well,
or if he can get that high.
Well, let's. I mean, we don't know if this is how it's going to go or not, but let's just assume it went this way. So then, let's say before the draft, I make a trade with Manny. He moves up to what, the 5th spot?
Fifth spot, yeah.
Yeah. So, because there's tons of corners still left, I take both of his first round draft picks, and I would take probably Harris, and I take the best available corner, who's still Washington. Right there, I fill 2 needs. You know, he fills the need. So there's still that possibility he could take both of those first round draft picks and move up. But the point is, he's taking a linebacker here, I think.
It makes sense, but yeah.
Well, that's why he's got 2 first round draft picks, in my opinion. He's got to take the best player he can take.
I personally think that Gibson will still be there at 22nd at his next pick. It's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks later, so I think he goes for the offensive tackle here, or the defensive tackle.
Possibly.
Houston.
How many times did you sack him?
Not sure. Maybe a few.
But you know
that didn't stand out his need. What stood out to me was Drew Brees having a lot of time and just sitting back with a pot of coffee.
Yeah.
So in that case, would you go for the Houston at defensive tackle just to add, say, another quality player into the defensive tackle rotation, and say a bit later, hoping that, because there's not that much drop off when it comes to the second tier cornerbacks from him and the other two outside linebackers. They're fairly similar stats, it seems.
I think what Stocks is saying is he's got to get a linebacker, whether you trade up or whether you trade down or whatever it is. You might be right, there's not one in our mock draft, but the point is he's got to move up, and he's got to, say, hey, Logan, here's 2 first-round draft picks and a player. I need that top 5 pick so I can get, a, Cooper.
Well, this is where we come back and talk about what his whole philosophy was when he made this huge trade. What does he have up his sleeve? What is he doing here?
Yeah.
And this is the draft will probably show his direction and what his game plan has been all this time.
Whether he likes it or not, he's got a lot riding on this draft.
Yeah.
He does. And I'll tell you this, man, if you give me your 2 first-round draft picks, I might think about moving down because there's a lot of good corners. A lot of good corners. You got like 6 of them that are B potentials. Then you got, one that's an A potential. I might be able to, and then I might be able to slide one of those linemen, because I need two positions where Manny only needs really 1, but he needs that position so desperately that he really can't wait. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong here, but I agree with Stocks. He needs a linebacker. That's the only position he really needs. Forget safety. He's good at safety. He's got, Barnett and Nick Collins.
If I'm Manny in this situation, personally, if Logan has the 5th overall pick, I'm looking to see who the guys above take, waiting until they've taken their picks, and then at the last minute saying, yep, we've got a deal, taking it if there's a person you think that's there. If not, trying to hold off for as long as possible. Or finding someone else maybe lower down that wants to trade, trying to get best value for your picks, if you know what I mean. And trying to reduce the amount that you're paying for a draft pick, say, if he's not the guy necessarily you wanted. Even maybe McKenzie, the left defensive end, playing him at right outside linebacker as a pass rusher, say DeMarcus Westart. He went at 7th overall. If he traded with Logan, for example, at 5th, taking him then I think that could be a very good option. Say, taking the Houston Texans and Dallas Cowboys, Wade Phillips style offense. Maybe that dictates what playbook kid use in the future.
Why do we always spend so much time on Manny? I swear, man.
He's intriguing, man. He's intriguing with what he's done this year.
He really is. I told you, when we saw that trade, we were like, holy whatever, grapefruits, oranges, apples, it doesn't matter. We were like, holy something. He basically transformed his team. He had plastic surgery on his team, and now we're gonna see what he's making because we don't know. he basically made a big ball, and now he's got to make something in this draft, and it'll be interesting to see what he does. He might be a genius. We'll see.
So, what is our final pick for Manny for the first selection? So we go
trade up to get a linebacker, and if he.
Well, we can't do that now that we've gotten to his first pick now.
Well,
but in this situation, do we go for Houston, the defensive tackle, or are both the offensive tackles still there, or do we go for a guard, for example?
You go Harris, the eight.
I think Harris. We go Harris, the guard, or a defensive tackle in Houston. If
you're holding a gun to my head and saying they can't trade up and all that stuff or whatever logistics, we
can't trade up when we've already done the picks beforehand.
Well,
let's be honest.
I'm just okay.
Unless we want to redo the whole show up to this point.
You want me to be honest? I'll be honest. If he hasn't made this trade to move up yet, he's stupid. That's honesty, because there's no linebacker worth taking at this position, and if he hasn't moved up, then he's messing up worse than trading Matthews away. But if I had to give him a pick, it's Harris.
Now the next pick, the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey,
I'm pretty sure they would have very much liked to have had Harris as their pick.
Why was there a gun to my head and not Stocks' head? Who's the Stocks pick? Well, now
I've only got one gun.
Nothing. I guess one bullet apparently too. If I knew it was a water gun, I would have checked. I would have said, "Okay, give me a shower, then let's go."
Hey, leave me out of this.
Come on, man.
Oh my gosh.
Dude.
Dallas Cowboys, okay.
Yeah.
Nice transition.
Oh shit.
They need offensive lineman or defensive lineman. So who do you go for?
I know runner for a fact. He's going the best D lineman available. If that's an end, if it's a DT, that's what he needs. That's what he feels.
I personally think Houston, because you'd probably be able to shove him at defensive end.
Houston is the guy. That one was a lot easier than Packers. See, I tell you, we talk about the Packers way too much.
Damn you, Manny.
Yeah, Houston's the best guy. He's a little lower, but he's the A potential, and he's the only A potential left, I think. So, yeah. I know for a fact that Runner's taking defensive tackle or defensive. He's going on the line of the defensive.
He's going on the lines.
Yeah.
Now the final non-playoffs pick we have at the moment, due to standings and stuff, is the Carolina Panthers. This team is very capable of pushing into the playoffs, but it's just with records and stuff, with teams having a win above, we had to kind of give them the playoff spots.
And sorry, mate, for your circumstances about that, but that's a whole nother story. Am I alone? Hello? I'm alone. And we're back. I'll edit this out about right now. Here we go. You guys with me? Now? Here we go. I hear voices.
Yep.
Here we go.
Right.
Here we go.
So where were we?
I don't know what happened there. I guess I needed a breather. I guess the internet decided it was time for me to take a break. But where are we at?
Perhaps to stop running around.
Yeah. That hamster must have chewed a
Gotta give him some cheese.
Right?
You're not feeding him enough.
Oh, dude, I swear, next time, if I see a mouse in my house, I'm getting on this thing and calling you guys right away. Because that's neither here or there. Let me end this thing right now so that way I don't got tons of editing to do, and we'll start new. Back with the Panthers, the mighty, mighty Panthers. Let's see, we're sorry about your circumstances. I don't know how much of that you can hear. Well, I don't even know how much you'll hear of that after I'm done editing, but basically I lost connection with these guys, and now I'm back, and now we're good. Still the same old draft board, same old people, same old conversations, and surprisingly we went the longest on this segment on Manny. That's not surprising. since that seems to be the theme of the show. But back with the Panthers. Again, I'm sorry about your circumstances, man. You had a lot of unfortunate sims. But if you are in this position, well, I don't know who you take, man.
Maybe D. Williams, give Newton another threat offensively. Wide receiver. D. Williams, the wide receiver.
Or some free safety help.
Yeah, probably the safety.
Is T. Aaron gone?
Yeah, no, he was available.
No, he didn't. He's still there. So, I think T. Aaron's...
Yeah, that's easy.
The obvious fit there.
He might be gone. We might have overlooked that guy, to be honest. I mean, maybe that's why he slid that far. But if he's there, he's gone. See ya.
Yep.
Last A potential. See you. I mean, actually, the strong safety's still there too, isn't he? Boyd is still there, isn't he?
Yeah, I think one of the strong safeties is still there. I'm not sure which one though.
I think both of them are still there.
There might be.
We must hate our safeties. We must think we can play great man-to-man coverage or something. I don't think that's the case because I'm 2-6, but I'll digress.
And I'm 2-6 as well, so you forced me to take a safety, so.
Forced you.
Now the next pick is the New York Jets. What do you do in their situation? I think maybe they take Williams after trading.
Yeah, you take wide receiver.
Santonio Holmes away.
Yeah,
definitely a wide receiver.
And Derek Mason. Both they're old.
I don't care if the best.
That seems.
I don't care if the best wide receiver is like Carol Owen's brother, if it's his mom, or if it's his aunt. You take the best wide receiver available.
Yeah.
Or the other. I don't know about any Jet strong safeties. I'm not sure. I'll have to check.
He's gonna have to have Mathis at safety, you think, or one of those. He's got a lot of secondary help.
He's got Jim Leonard still and Eric Smith.
Yeah.
So
you don't pay a first round draft pick for one of your strongest positions, in my opinion, and secondary is the strongest.
But if he doesn't get young like the wide receiver,
Logan, tell that to the Lions.
Hey. My Lions are just fine, thank you very much.
No, but the point you're arguing is you don't pay a player that much when the Lions did exactly that, and look at the situation there and now. With two quality strong safeties on the board, 80 overall, well, we think they're both on the board still, A potential, 80 overall. Do you let them fall any further? We're at the 20th pick in the first round. Do you let both of them fall any further, or do you snap on this opportunity and Jim Leonard becomes, say, potentially expendable to a trade?
No, you take a wide receiver, I think.
Take a wide receiver because if you don't get young at that position, if you don't do it in free agency, you're basically cooked within the next year.
And
you'll be scrambling to looking for two wide receivers.
There are a fair few wide receivers further down, but they're not quite as good quality. So maybe a couple of them will fall into the second round, maybe to where you're picking. But
but they may not be there.
They may not be. Yeah. You gotta. No, is
you gotta get in the
D. Williams the final pick?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
The next pick is the Colts. What do we do there? That's
safety.
Strong safety.
The best available safety, I think. I think this is where you take the best player available.
Yeah, he's a team that can.
They got Melvin Fullerton, strong safety, and Bethea at free safety. So either one of those safeties would come in and be better than Fullerton.
Exactly. And if you wanted to sit him, that's okay. I mean, right now in the draft, we're deep enough. We're talking about playoff teams, so obviously they didn't need these people to get to the playoffs. So why would they?
Yeah.
Why would they need them to play right now?
So we go for Jay Boyd.
Yeah. And to be honest, I don't think he slipped quite that far. But
yeah, I don't think either of them slipped that far. I think we might have overlooked them a bit. But now the next pick is the Packers from the Eagles. So what do you do with the pick that you got from Clay Matthews? Do you replace Clay Matthews with?
No,
James?
you already. My theory is you already replaced Matthews. Now you go offensive line side.
Offensive line, exactly. You already traded up, and you already traded me your 2 first-round draft picks, and you got the best available linebacker. And now you probably don't got a pick, but you're gonna put that gun to my head again. So I'm gonna have to take an offensive lineman. But if this is my pick, like it should be, I still take an offensive lineman or the best available corner. But
which offensive lineman? Do you go for D. Hall, a left guard with decent potential, or do you go with?
Well, he has T.J. Lang.
T. Walker, the right tackle, who's B potential but 84 overall. Do you go with potential or overall in this situation?
You take.
Or do you go with a centre? They all appear to be C potential on this, but
you take potential. I think in many situations.
The thing is you have Chad Clifton there sitting at 36 years old, so you're going to need a left tackle.
But are you going to need him next year, or are you going to need him the year after that? Because if you need him the year after that, you take potential. If you need him now...
So do you go for D. Watkins at left tackle at 76 overall? Do you go more positional, or do you go more potential, or more overall? That's
potential.
It sounds like positional being left tackle, but do you...
Yeah, because he doesn't have to come in and start right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Clifton's vulnerable for injury.
Or do you shift Derek Sherrod, who was drafted as left tackle? He's a left guard on the game because he's been playing there. But do you put him across at left tackle and put your rookie left guard in there? Say Hall or Lipsy.
What Manny does is he trades the first 2 picks to me, and this is my pick, and I'll choose whoever I want. And so now we can move on because Manny doesn't even have these picks. So who's next?
So who do we pick with that pick? We're going to take someone off the board.
Left tackle.
Yeah, take the left tackle.
Now it's the Broncos.
So now we got Manny taking 2 left tackles. I'll digress. I'll digress.
So we got Manny taking defensive tackle and left tackle. Going on the lines. Who do we have the Broncos taking at 23rd overall? What do the Broncos need at this point?
I'll tell you, playing him, and probably the only one playing him since he came in new last week, he loves to pass the ball. He loves to stop the run, so probably best available linebacker or lineman help.
Or what about a tight end?
Or tight end, exactly.
Daniel Fells is rated a 71. That's his top tight end.
There you go. I'm silly. Listen to Stocks. He's the gospel. You take the tight end. You take Sims.
That seems like a good bit. You got quite a few good quality potential young wide receivers.
Yep.
The question is whether you go and with potentially Tebow starting for you. If you choose to go down that route, you're going to need quite a fairly heavy tight end formation probably. So you've got big receivers to hit and for blocking, obviously when he decides to scramble in some cases. So the tight end seems like the pretty obvious obvious pick, unless you're going on the offensive line, which
you take
doesn't seem like it's the right pick at this stage.
You take Sims, we move on. Who's next?
The Minnesota Vikings.
Interesting.
Now, for the Vikings to be able to be picking at 24th with the roster they have, they've been using Adrian Peterson heavily. We've still got
Cox.
C. Cox, and we've got C. Mays. C. Mays is a potential 77 overall, and C. Cox is 84 overall B potential halfback. Do you bring in a bit of relief for Adrian Peterson?
That all depends.
He's got Gerhardt, but I think what you do in this situation, you move Gerhardt, you take one of the running backs. You either take the overall and Cox, or you take Mays, and I take Mays.
I think maybe Mays as well, because you got Adrian Peterson. He's not going to be your starting running back necessarily.
And if
he's got, with the A potential, he's potentially got more room for improvement.
Just for the record,
give it a year or two, someone could maybe put in for a trade for him if he's progressed nicely.
Just for the record, if Manny was more of a runner, I would have Manny taking Mays with his second first-round draft pick. But I don't think Manny likes to run. But hey, Manny, prove me wrong if that's the case. But I don't think you like to run, so I don't think you'd be looking at running back. But it is obvious that there's a lot of good running backs. So
No, it definitely sounds like a good pick.
Yeah. Now, 25th pick. Next pick, the New England Patriots.
Cox.
What do you do here?
Cox, the running back.
Wow, he jumped all over that one.
Well, he's 84 overall, and the guy doesn't have a running back to speak of, so.
But after our analysis, we kind of said the complete opposite of what we've said in that. Because we said he's got lots of running backs, but none of them are that special. But what makes Cox that special running back over, say, and with the way that his games have seen, he seems to be using Tom Brady heavily. He doesn't seem to be running the ball that much.
True.
So why would you take a running back that high?
The best available.
If you've got some fairly quality guys to begin with.
You could trade him, man.
Maybe not great.
I don't know, maybe corner then if you really want to go by position. But I think at this point you take talent.
There's still
I think he's
one
gonna
of the strong safeties there.
Too many running backs on his roster. He would have to shuffle a running back.
That's what I'm saying.
The second strong safety's still there. A potential 80 overall, isn't he? Team Inkley.
Take him then. Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
All I'm saying is you take the best available, and if you need to make a trade, you make a trade. Because right now, what pick are we at?
The 25th.
Exactly. If you get 80 something, at the 25th position, you take it, and you make room for him, or you trade him out. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Now the next pick is the Pittsburgh Steelers from the Seattle
corner.
Seahawks.
No problem. Best available corner.
Who do you go? Which one do you go for? As we don't have that much detail on them. 370 overall, 77 overalls. Obviously, you're going to be going for one of them. There's not that many picks after this, so obviously he's going to take everyone he thinks that in reality he's got most potential plays. Say, for example, he's got better zone, better press, or whatever.
Knowing the Steelers, he'll look for press, he'll look for man. So whoever's got the best press and man.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't remember which one it is, but I'm sure someone.
I could be wrong here, but I don't think zone is. He likes zone. Don't get me wrong, but press and man are his number one concerns. I think.
Yeah.
He's pretty old in the tooth on the offensive line at right tackle. He's got Tauscher, 35-year-old.
Yeah.
Flozell Adams, 37 years old. He's got Leonard Davis, 34 years old. So I would definitely.
With T. Walker still on the board, 84 overall be potential.
I don't know.
Yeah, I would definitely want to upgrade the age on that offensive line.
Because especially with the amount of depth there is at cornerback in this draft, they may not be necessarily as good as the top one, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 70-ish, low to mid, high 70 overall cornerbacks. But so I think you have to go with the right tackle here.
Yeah, just to get younger.
Especially as the Steelers have another pick, and this is one they got from the trade.
Yeah.
Yep. So you want to get young on this pick.
Okay.
So
I'll go with you guys.
Now the next pick, the Cincinnati Bengals. If I were them, despite having spent a hell of a lot of money on Noel Devine this past off-season, I personally don't think he's going to be quite the quality that they want him to be. So maybe consider going C. Cox, the halfback.
No, I don't think so. He'll still have Cedric Benson. He'll still have Devine. You go corner. He doesn't have a corner besides Hall. Who's his corner besides Hall? Is he any good? I don't think he is.
Pac-Man Jones is one of them. I'm not sure where he's rated.
Kelly Jennings, 76.
You take the corner.
Pac-Man's a 72.
But we're talking about next year, so Pac-Man will probably go down.
He's got Nate Clements as well.
And I'm not talking about going down in the club, Pac-Man. I'm talking about going down in progression. So just so you know, don't make it rain anytime soon.
Yeah, because at the moment he's got Leon Hall, Nate Clements, Pac-Man, or Kelly Jennings.
Well, Nate Clements goes down.
Can I ask you a question? Is C. Jones the quarterback still there?
No. We got the Redskins taking him.
Okay.
But that's interesting, isn't it?
Oh, Boone? Jay Boone? I'm just curious because if Andy Dalton doesn't progress.
Yep. Boone's still there, and that's interesting because he's an 80.
I think that could be a very good pick. He's got David Garrard on a 1-year deal.
Yeah,
Andy Dalton on a 4-year deal.
He signed David Garrard?
Yeah, he did.
It's a 1-year deal, $4.9 million.
So that tells me he didn't think Andy Dalton was good enough to start.
I don't know if Andy Dalton's gonna progress the way that guy Boone could come right in and start.
I think bring in Boone, then you've got 2 quality young quarterbacks. Need be, and then you've got some trade bait.
I think it depends on how Andy Dalton progresses. I think we all agree on that.
Yep.
But I think you could be right.
Boone does seem like a very good pick, even if Dalton does progress well.
Now, David Garrard wasn't signed in our initial free agency. He was signed like a week or 2 after, wasn't he?
May have been. It might have been in the second round, I think. Because $4.9 million for him does seem like a lot, but I don't know what his starting price would have been. So it's hard to tell whether
I think that was his starting price. I think that's why everyone kind of backed away from him. But that speaks to what he thinks of Andy Dalton is what I'm getting at here.
Yeah. So, do we go with Jay Boone there?
Yep, Jay Boone.
Yeah, sounds good.
And we'll come back after this.